Welcome to Navigating Marketing and AI with Sydne Mullings, the podcast that unravels the dynamic intersection of marketing strategies and the cutting-edge world of artificial intelligence.
Hi, I'm your host, Sydne Mullings. Today, I'm chatting with Jose Luis Ortiz. Jose Luis is the head of sales and industry for Microsoft's U.S. Retail and Consumer Goods Division. He's responsible for overseeing one of the most dynamic and competitive markets in the world and uses his extensive experience and skills to help our customers accelerate their journeys to become digital enterprises. Welcome to the show, Jose Luis.
Thank you for having me.
So to kick things off, could you share a bit about your journey and your background?
I am Mexican living in the US. I'm managing this business that you reference in retail and consumer goods. But my background, I spent 7 years in P&G, Procter & Gamble, doing marketing, and then 10 years at PepsiCo before coming to Microsoft, where I have almost 14 years this year in Microsoft. And even in Microsoft, I did 3 years of the role that we used to call marketing and operations, where I was the lead in Mexico and then had make a change in my career to be more a commercial executive.
How about you tell me a bit about your current role?
So I'm the head of sales for what we call the account territory units. So we own the strategic account plans of these customers where we discuss with them what is it that they're trying to achieve. And we bring capabilities, investment, technologies, people, so that they can achieve in the different areas of the business. Could be supply chain, could be marketing, could be, manufacturing or finance or what have you.
That's amazing. And one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you to this conversation is I think you have such a unique perspective as someone who's been a marketer and now is in sales. So I'd love to understand from you, how do you think that Gen AI is transforming the marketing strategy of some of our large customers?
Generative AI is really touching every aspect and every area for our customers. And I think it's an amazing thing that Microsoft is really at the front and at the leading position of all the practical applications of generative AI, not only with our own apps, but also with Azure OpenAI and just being able to create solutions for our customers that really suit their needs. So, they know that this is really the first time where they will be able to get a data enabling marketing organization because, it has always been used like data is so important to make the right marketing decisions. But now when you think of everything that you can connect with generative AI, with these very large language models, like from operational information, from everything that you can see on your ERP environments, very operational, but then you can understand your shopper, your customer, your consumer, getting into consumption occasions and being super granular is just an amazing opportunity for marketers to jump very, very rapidly to that, to identify the patterns, to drive customer satisfaction and adoption, to predict trends in the future, to have better forecasting, to reduce waste in the plants. It's just an amazing amount of things that you can do and that marketeers can do now. The way that we see this year, 2024, is the year of adoption because customers are not like just trying it, they're adopting this as fast as they can because they know it's a competitive advantage.
And as you think about all the work our customers are doing to try and to trial, and even, as you said, to start to have some solutions in production, what kind of outcomes are they able to achieve leveraging Gen AI?
I think the marketing function touches every aspect of the corporations and the company. So there are so many things from, innovation, building brand equity, etc. But maybe if I wanted to just narrow it down to more traditional marketing KPIs, I mean, conversion rates, the early results that we have seen from customers is 20% boost on conversion rates, cost savings. At the end, this is all about automation, right? I mean, how can you speed up decision-making by automating some processes that not necessarily add value to the customer? So operational cost reductions by at least 15%. I think improvement on satisfaction for marketeers per se, because they can dedicate their time to a more creative aspect of their work and less about operational. It could be something as easy as reading all the emails and processing account payables, repetitive tasks that don't necessarily add value to to the company and does not represent a big challenge to them. Also, improve customer satisfaction because there's more personalization or consumer satisfaction by, getting to really personalization of the offers. And if you think of an e-commerce portal that is super tailored and suited to the needs of this specific customer, it makes a big difference. So what you can do in terms of designing and prototyping ideas and then just send it to a testing company and just get results back super rapidly. We see at least 30% of faster time to market innovation right now with the early stages of generative AI. So I think I can tell you that this is going to be exponential in the future, in my opinion.
I love some of the points you just made. Obviously, that time to market is critical. It's critical for everyone's satisfaction, internal to the company, as well as the consumer that you're trying to reach. I think the one that you hit on that really resonates with me as I sit here today as a marketing leader is the idea of employee satisfaction for marketers. There is such a wealth of tools and process and operations, and certainly we want to make sure we're always considering privacy and all our compliance statutes, and really that bump of efficiency for the marketer really has an employee satisfaction that I know I'm experiencing. So I love that you called that out. So with those kind of outcomes and benefits, I'd love to hear from you maybe a bit about if you're hearing any typical challenges or maybe concerns customers are having as they are starting down their implementation journey.
We always tell our customers that technologies are solutions, but at the end of the day, they come on top of getting the right culture and the right mindset from their employees. And what is the approach that they need to have? What is the mindset they need to have to adopt this new technology? They need to know their craft, and they need to know what is it that they want to do with the technology, because then that is going to be the enabler that will really let them do what they are thinking. So in that same spirit, if I jump into something that is probably a little bit more operational and more technical, this is a technology, this is an applied technology, right? So they need to build the right infrastructure. They need to be in the cloud. They need massive amounts of compute, storage, and inferencing power so that they can really make AI, generative AI work. They need to have the right data, and the right data is, of course, with quality, and they need to make sure that it's clean, that it's reliable, that it's accurate. All that is super critical, because then if you know the typical garbage in, garbage out, right? So you need to have the basic pillars in place. Change management process. It's super important that we take very intentional steps into a change management process with people so that they try, adopt, and then see the benefits of that. I think the benefits, as we said, for the employee, but also for the company, because they're going to be investing their time into activities that will add more value to the company versus, again, operational stuff that probably don't add a lot of value. And I think the third piece maybe on this point will be all the ethical considerations. So, we have a big mantra here, which is responsible AI. So we need to set very clear guidelines for AI usage, and we need to emphasize transparency, privacy rights, and governance, all of that, which is super important for the world, quite frankly, but of course for our customers and their consumers.
Outstanding. I think getting a sense of how the foundation needs to be set really will help leaders and organizations along their journey. And so with that, and maybe as a final question, what kind of tips or advice can you share with the folks that are listening and for leaders as they're starting to make their way down this path with AI?
The first thing that I would say is you need to stay on top of things, because this is evolving so rapidly. I mean, even our own offers, but just in general, AI is it's exponentially growing every day. So every day I find a new article or a new functionality of our own products or whatever that is improving the lives and the functions of many, many people in the world. So I think staying curious and learning it all and just thinking on generative AI, how it is evolving, is super important. Then I think there are some risk and reward. There are more obvious solutions. For me, everything that is like what we call co-pilot, how do you infuse generative AI into the tools that you work every day so that you can do faster Excels, faster PowerPoints, respond to emails, summarizing, drafting things. Those are almost like no-brainers to me, and that's something that you can adopt super rapidly. And then, of course, I think change management is super important. You need to really have a very good collaboration and a very good change management process so that you can do this with the right governance, and also to make a responsible use of AI, right? At the end of the day, most of the companies that we serve have very similar societal responsibilities as we do in Microsoft, and we need to make sure that we keep ourselves accountable for everything that we're doing with these very powerful technologies.
Fantastic. I think those are real and actionable and things that people can really dig into. So thank you so much for sharing it. It has been great to spend this time with you and to have this conversation. I'm so glad to have your voice as part of this discussion today. So thank you for joining us. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm always available.